Somebody's complaining, so he's like, "It's been 10.
Who's-
We got a stickler here." So we're gonna start with this one that Jared sent. This is just an impromptu. We're calling it an audible here. We're just starting with the cashless revolution that's going on. Apparently, this is one of those nitpicky
boy.
things. You want to give us a preface, Jared?
Oh, I was in the shower on my phone. You know when you're on the shower phone, it's a bit like shower beers, but just as fun. And I was like, I came across this and I was like, what a fucking dork. 'Cause I just I thought it would be funny to watch the video on the stream. and
Wait,
talk
how are
about
you?
it.
How are you on the phone in the shower? Did you have it in like a Ziploc bag?
No, I live on the edge, bro. I'm living.
Okay. All right. I shower with a toaster every time I take a shower. just in case.
Yeah. No, the phones are like pretty waterproof these days. You can just take them in there, no worries.
I also did
Yeah,
used to
try
do
that.
that. I used to just prop the phone up on the shelf in the shower and listen to a podcast most of the time. Sometimes watch a YouTube video, but not have to interact with it too much because you know how it behaves weird when your hand is wet. Like it'll just start sending
Yeah,
shit
when
you
you-
don't want to people you don't want to send it to. Like
Yeah, you end up getting droplets on the screen and you sign up to ISIS or something like that.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, now I did get a one of those waterproof like just $3 speakers on like I don't remember, my wife got it for me, and it's like it's great. Like you charge it once every couple months and it will just play the podcast. You don't have to bring the phone into the shower anymore. So highly recommend. Like I don't put my phone at risk anymore.
That's cool. Very cool.
But what
So,
does that have to do
cashless
with
revolution.
the Cash Crusader, Jared?
It has nothing to do with that. It was just Joseph.
Oh.
Joseph asked me why I was in the shower with a phone. which
Oh,
was-
okay, but I want to know like what this guy about before I play the video. Like,
Oh, so he's like, I don't. This is probably something that like happens in America as well. But like, you know how like there's this sort of subset of people who are so out of touch with reality and so like they've never had a real problem in their life, so they choose that the hill that they die on is the fact that businesses prefer to not be given cash anymore, and then they make that their entire personality. While there's like there's like multiple genocides happening. They're like, no, this the most important issue in the world right now is I
use
can't.
cash.
Yeah, I can't go through McDonald's and pay with cash anymore. I have to use my debit card. Like I don't know. It's just, but you'll see when you look at this guy, you'll see what I mean.
All right, that's probably as much preface as I need. I'll play the video and then we can let it speak for itself then.
Remember the days when we all had spare change in the car to pay the parking meter? Now it's just a tap of your phone or card. But Oliver
That's terrible.
is old school. He wants to use his cash. And when a parking machine refused to take his money, he copped a fine. Well, he's digging his heels in and taking the fight to court.
Give me that, give me money.
Oh my god, this guy.
He calls himself the Cash Crusader.
If I want to pay for my parking ticket in cash, I should be bloody well right to do so.
Bloody well right.
This is the bloke on the throne.
You can be told, no, you can't use your own money. It's wrong. It's fundamentally flawed.
It's
It's legal tender.
On a mission to make
This guy gets laid a
sense
lot.
of a
Yeah.
system that's gone
He looks like a youth
crazy.
pastor.
You've gone on a bit of a crusade about all this now. You've taken it to court.
Yep.
You're wearing a t-shirt that says cash is king. You're taking this very seriously.
If I'm wrong, let the judge tell me I'm wrong.
His Highness of hard currency isn't backing down. Meet
Goes and grabs all the
Oliver,
coins.
the man
The
battling
incel
for the
walk.
right to
The
pay
incel stride.
All right.
What is it?
What do we think so far, you guys?
He's got the Innsmouth look, you know.
That's how I walk around. I walk around with that. What's he got in his back pocket there? He's got
Looks like lottery tickets or
$200
something, like-
notes. Those are $100 notes in his left pocket, and those are $50 notes.
Is that what
in
your
his
money
right
looks like,
pocket.
dude?
Dude, I can't read Australian.
Yeah, money's made of
Wow.
plastic.
That's so weird looking. Okay.
Let me see if I've got some cash or if the woke globalists
Yeah,
have
right.
taken it away. This is what that's what our money
Wow.
looks like. It's
Oh wow.
That's so crazy. Look, it's see-through, but also
It's made of plastic.
oh my god.
Oh.
ASMR.
ASMR.
It's like, yeah, it's made of our cash is made of plastic. It's like see-through and stuff. Yeah.
Shibble says, "Don't leave any hole unfilled."
So, like-
Hilarious.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to. We don't have to watch the rest of the video, but I just thought this was the perfect. This is just the perfect encapsulation of like first world petty bourgeois grievances. Just the fucking just pure condensed petty bourgeois out of touch grievances. Like 15-minute cities. Do you remember people talking about like 15-minute cities and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you remember that? That was a thing. Like, it's a bad thing that like your job and where you live and everything else, your job, your friends, and your family are like within walking distance. Like, that's a bad thing. You must.
Yeah, that would be
You
great.
must. Yeah, you must get in your car and
Public
drive
transit, not car
an hour
center
and a
culture,
half to get
be awesome.
groceries. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you
Yeah.
said, Mike, earlier, like the fact that there's multiple, or no, I think it was Jared, multiple genocides going on, doesn't matter. This guy needs to be able to pay his McDonald's Happy Meal with cash, and if he can't do that, then he's going to become a school shooter.
Yeah.
That's actually why most school shooters become school shooters, is because they can't pay cash with anything,
Oh,
I
yeah,
liked
big time.
ML Homo Sapien in the chat said, "I can't pay for my treat with paper anymore. I have to tap my plastic. This is literally cash genocide." I'm realizing also that you guys can't even do paper or plastic in Australia. It's just plastic or plastic. And this guy's complaining about one plastic or the other. It's like, shut up, dude. Like,
Yeah, it's
literally,
it's,
there's
it's
genocide.
yeah, it's really silly. It's really, 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 really silly.
Yeah, it does make our currency look a little more boring. I don't know. I can play some more of this video if we want to see just how cringe this
Cold
guy gets.
hard cash
Oh yeah.
everywhere.
Cash is legal tender. Heaps of people use cash. It's a person's freedom. It's
Well, what a good
money.
observation.
I should be able to pay
What a great
what I need in cash.
But try telling that to the card-only parking machine.
The university started making.
I like him just pressing the cash up against the card machine like the magnetic card reader.
Yeah. I like the idea that wasn't originally filmed. Like that was he was doing that before, and then they just came up to him with a camera and they were like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I can't pay cash on this thing. I keep tapping it with my cash and it doesn't work."
Imagine how like completely super expensive that would be to have all of your paper money be also like scannable on like a fucking card reader thing. I don't know. That just seems crazy. If that was to ever be a real thing.
And this is especially strange in the context of like, I'm sure this is a thing in the United States, but like for a period of time, our like welfare payments, our government was trying to enforce this thing like a cashless debit card, which would mean that people who are getting welfare could only pay for it with this specific card, and it couldn't be turned into cash. And the idea behind that was the government being like, they're just going to spend it on drugs, blah blah blah, like the normal like anti worker, anti poverty, poor person bullshit. Like that's the actual like sort of oppressive nature of going cashless, is it using it as a way of tracking the most vulnerable people in society and tracking every nickel and dime that they spend, and finding ways that you can cut welfare. Basically, being like, they actually used the cashless debit card to buy McDonald's. They shouldn't be buying McDonald's if they're on welfare. They shouldn't be.
They
having
bought
a
lobster
coffee if
tails.
they're
I
on
saw a
welfare.
receipt for it on ifunny.com.
Yep.
Yeah. Or they have a subscription to Netflix. They shouldn't be able to do that. So it's just about tracking people. It's like you shouldn't be able to enjoy your life in any meaningful way if you require government assistance. But like whenever you talk to one of these like these cash is king assholes, does that ever come up? Does like concern for poor people ever come up? It's like, no, it's just they don't give a shit about that, and they also want poor people to suffer, and they also don't want poor people to have nice things. It's just from this like, I don't know. He made a fucking t-shirt for himself. Like, what is this?
Did he pay for that with cash? Did he hire somebody?
Probably
Did he
not.
hire somebody and pay them cash only to make his Cash is King shirt? Or do you have to fucking get someone on Etsy and then, do the fucking million currencies or whatever? This kind of reminds me. Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
This kind of reminds me of like corporate currencies that were used like in the
Like a script?
1800s, like miners and things like that. The scripts or whatever they were called. Yeah. They would literally pay their workers in company money that could not be used anywhere else, and they would have their workers live on like company designated land. So they were basically just serfs or slaves at that point.
Mhm.
And this just kind of, the whole like your plastic is the only thing that actually counts here. It's just more the multitude of ways to control poor people.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, these are people whose entire experience of like, I don't know. I'm watching The Wire right now, so I'm just imagining like there was like that quote from somebody who was like an American congressman or somebody who said like, "I watched The Wire." It was like one of those tech entrepreneurs out in Silicon Valley. Like, I watched The Wire. I know what it's like to be like a poor person or something in Black America. It was like something incredibly racist like that. But it made me just want to watch the show again because it's so great. But it's like, again, these people who are concerned about like cash being phased out, they're not concerned with like poor people being bankless, poor people not having access to like their basic needs. They're concerned about not being able to like buy their child porn anonymously, not being able to buy their drugs anonymously. These are also, I was going to say, the overlap between these guys who are very cashless or cash kings and who are very like Bitcoin aficionados or the crypto aficionados. It's a single circle. It's like the Venn diagram is just one circle. Like they all want to just be able to buy things with the most fungible token that they can, which means anonymous, very easily tradable, and they don't care if that's an NFT or a literal person that has now become a tradable token. Like they will do that if the law allows them to do it.
Yeah.
Trying to
they're-
very
they're-
subtly segue us into talking about Jeffrey Epstein, right?
Oh boy. Yeah, the-
Speaking of Bitcoin style pedophiles,
But since
Um,
if we've exhausted that, I can switch to the next thing that's on the topic list, which was something else that Jared sent in here. But before I do that, go ahead, Joseph.
well, I was gonna say, what was I gonna say? It'll come back to me. Whatever.
A Syrian attacked an Israeli settler on one of Greece's beaches and tore off his ear and told him, "I am Hamas. Fuck Israel. Free Palestine." Hell yeah. You love to see it.
now apparently the context of the story is the Israeli settler attacked this Greek guy first, so
Okay. As
it
they
was
do.
self-defense.
Oh, yeah, there's a caption here that says, Stav Ben Shushan, an Israeli settler, was attacked at Bolivar Beach in Greece by a Syrian man who bit off part of his ear. What is that? Was it Mike Tyson that did that
Yeah, Mike Tyson.
to George Foreman, if I remember correctly? Only 90s kids will remember. Who bit off part of his ear while shouting, quote, "Free Palestine, fuck Israel, I am Hamas." Love it.
Fuck Israel. I am Hamas.
Cool shit. See, this is what happens. Like, you just breed members of your enemy terrorist group in Greece, of all places, because you just are that abhorrent. You commit that many atrocities. That's how you create Hamas.
Mm-hmm.
Seemingly
Well,
random
Greece-
people who are totally unconnected in Greece.
Greece is Hamas. Greece is Hamas. Syria is
UN's
Hamas.
Hamas.
The UN is Hamas.
This live stream is probably Hamas, according to Israel.
Hamas. I'm Hamas.
Greece is where all the settlers went, where all the Israelis went when Iran was retaliating. When Iran was defending itself, Greece is where they went because Greece is like right there. Like it's literally just off the coast. You can go to Greece. That must fucking suck, man. Imagine being Greek and just a bunch of fucking Israelis show up. Like I know when I hardly ever come across Israelis in Australia. I think I've met a couple. I think I can, on the top of my head, I can remember I've met like one or two Israelis, and both experiences were very unpleasant. But like, being a European, if you're in Europe, you must come across them all the time. And if you're in Greece or like anywhere in the Mediterranean, you'd come across them. It must be so fucking annoying. Like honestly,
Yeah, I had a couple friends who were I knew like in my town there's like a pretty sizable Jewish community, so I had some Jewish friends, and I remember in high school they went on like a birthright trip to Israel with their family and everything, and at the time I like was completely unaware of what was happening or what was going on, and they would tell me they're like, man, there's like a war going on or something, I don't know. It's like
You know, it's
And I'm
just
like, man,
occurring to
that's
me now.
crazy.
It's just
Yeah.
occurring to me now, like how many more Israeli, I don't know, like domestic terrorists or mass shooters or something we would have if there wasn't literally a program to keep them from being incels, like the birthright program. Like it literally prevents that from happening. Like they come back not being at least virgins anymore. Hopefully they keep it up after that. But like, damn, like it would be even worse. Like now we just have all the far right terrorists, or do we just need a birthright thing? Do we need to send all the far right dudes off to like? Is that what youth
Germany.
camp is for? Is
Like
that what all the
Rhodesia,
youth camp?
like
Yeah, Rhodesia. Oof.
yeah, put them in twink short shorts and
That's
send
the
them
problem.
to
It used to be Ukraine,
bush
but
war.
Ukraine is unstable now. So
Yeah.
now they're just hanging out here.
Fuck you. Who is this?
Oh, I'm blocking people. It's all right.
All right.
Why does it come up on the screen?
What's that?
Use the
Oh,
site.
I probably do accidentally hit show. That's
That's so
it's very
funny.
easy to hit show message on the screen while you're trying to block somebody.
So I don't know if our listeners are aware, but like on birthright, people who go on birthright trips, the IDF and Israeli, I guess, intelligence, they will actually, if you're a man and you go on those trips, they will actually set up, they will basically set up like women from the IDF, in plain clothes to like honeypot you, basically. Not honeypot you because it implies something like illegal, but it's like they'll put them, they know where you are, they'll put them near you and they're told to come up and strike a conversation, and often that leads to like a romantic relationship and they get married. Sometimes, like, well, what's his name, Ethan Klein, right? You know, that piece of shit.
Mhm.
Ethan Klein is he met Hela via that.
Mhm.
Is a fun fact. Like she was an IDF, she was one of the IDF like plants on his birthright trip. Like that's how they do it. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah, it's a
Imagine
little bit
meeting
of
your
like
wife like that.
what's the term for it? It's like if you are like a madam, but like in an institutional. This is trafficking, right? They just call it trafficking.
No, it's
Yeah,
it's
pretty much.
basically just
Yeah.
prostitution. Like
Yeah.
really, like they're using and they're soldiers, right? So they're like, I don't know. There's like an extra element to it when you're telling your soldiers to go like catfish, to basically go like get these random Jewish dudes who've come over on birthright for the purposes of just getting more settlers in Israel.
It just
Like,
sounds
that's
so shitty for everyone involved, dude. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, that kind of reminds me. I was substitute teaching at my old high school. Weird to bring up high school again. But I remember that there was like an army recruiting thing going on, right? Because they had like a little stand and like a tent and everything, and there was like a band playing. It was like U.S. Army band, like they were playing like rock and roll stuff, like AC/DC and you know, just like popular rock songs like from the 90s. Like they played a
Yeah,
couple
cover
Nirvana
band.
songs too. Yeah, they were a cover band.
Good cover band.
Yeah, good, and they were good. I remember hearing it and being like, "Man, that sounds pretty good." And I like walked out, and I saw the U.S. Army logo, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" They're trying to sell the rebellious spirit of this music to a bunch of disillusioned teenagers in a high school to join the U.S. Army, and it was just like, this is so insidious on so many levels. You know,
that's
it
bad.
just
That's
feels
a bad cover
it just,
band.
yeah, it feels similar
they're
to
really-
what you were
they're-
describing.
They're not stupid. Like they're very smart. These are very like smart people, and there's a lot of research that goes into this sort of thing. Like Israel made a very calculated decision with the birthright trips that it was about getting more settlers from other countries to come to Israel. They're like, oh yeah, just come for this little trip. It's free. But then they set up a situation where you're like very likely to meet a partner. And then it's like, hey, guess what? You've met a partner. You've got a partner now. You've got like a girlfriend, possibly wife. And then like also here's a free house as well. Like they'll give you a free house and a job.
Mhm.
You know, it'll be a stolen Palestinian house. And that's how they do it. Like,
It's so
it's
coercive.
incredibly insidious.
It's so coercive.
So I was trying to figure out a way to like segue over to talking about Epstein because we have it as like our main topic tonight. So we want to mostly talk about. I was just gonna, you know, easing us into it with other things, but how do you like? What do we want to like start with? Like, what do you guys? What's like an initial take to have on Epstein? Because I know I said something in the Discord. I don't know if I'm able to find it right away, but like my basic take is like, oh, here it is that ultimately the Epstein stuff, like the list, whether it exists or not, it doesn't matter. And like not for like the Stephen King version of like don't worry about it or even look into it because it might implicate me reason, but because what we already know, like without any more information being leaked, is bad enough that it would justify removing just about any of our current leaders, powerful people, billionaires, any of the elite class, any of like the owners of the means of production, right? Like any of the stuff that we just already know would justify doing just about anything to the people who are like implicated by like the stuff that's already been released, like the Black Book or whatever. Like this whole idea that there needs to be some kind of list we have to talk about first and foremost, but everybody has also been talking about that. Like that's like a weird like side distraction. But the whole point is that like all of it that we just know already would justify removing these people from power. But that's not going to happen, right? Like we all know that's not going to happen. So in effect, like they're just blatantly rubbing it in our faces that they can like double back, they can contradict themselves, they can say one thing and then totally say the opposite like a couple months later, call something a conspiracy theory, then say it's real, then say it's fictional again, all to the same audience, and nobody will do anything. And they know it, anybody won't do anything. It's like, and the analogy I used was like when you have kids and you sort of like watch them grow up and you realize there's certain things you can't fool them with anymore. You can't fool them with the tooth fairy or Santa Claus anymore. If they grow up, like they're actually watching American society or Western society go backwards. They're realizing they can fool us with more blatant lies and nobody will do a fucking thing about it. And that's the whole point of it. Like,
the timing is very interesting as well. Like I've always found this very strange. This coming up right now very strange because like Epstein was something people talked about like 10 years ago. Like I was following what was going on with Jeffrey Epstein like 10 years ago, all the background with like Trump and the Clintons and every other powerful person being connected to this pedo basically. And this was all like a massive deal like 10 years ago. And then like in 2020, I think it was 2020 when he gets murdered in prison, which obviously he got murdered in prison. Like he didn't kill himself. Like
Did not kill himself.
No. But like, and then like for we didn't hear about, no one talked about it for 5 years. And now it's coming up now. Like now it's just come up. And I'm like, why is it coming up now? Why is everyone suddenly concerned? Why is it suddenly an issue for Donald Trump now? It wasn't an issue in his first term. It wasn't an issue when Biden was in office. Now it's in his second term, it's an issue. And I can't think of anything other than it must be related to the Gaza Holocaust in some way. Like it has to be related to that in some way. And I think it's got something to do with just Gaza's getting to the point now where they're starving. People are starving to death now. I mean, people were starving the whole time, but people are like, we're reaching like, Auschwitz stage, like where it's really bad. Like it's really, really fucking bad. And I can't help but bringing up the Epstein stuff now is just like, it's like when they said, oh, UFOs are real. Or whatever, like they're just throwing shit.
Well, I mean, they're also doing that. Like Shibbles mentioned in the chat, he said it spaced out and thought Mike was talking about the UFO declassified documents. But yeah, it ties in well with. And then he also Petrocell was joking around saying he did kill himself, bro. Are you like a conspiracy theorist or something? I did not even look into the UFO thing. Like I saw briefly. Our friend on Instagram, surprise 1913, I believe, posted this. It was just like a thumbnail, and it said like there's this object believed to be extraterrestrial in nature that should reach the Earth in November 2025, and it's just like a known thing. And like I haven't even bothered to Google it because I just care about the genocide and other things more. Like that's the level we're at. I just don't even care. Like the UFO thing was done a couple years ago, and then a couple years before that, I'm just like, I'll believe it when I see it. I don't know.
Even when they talk about Epstein now, I'm like, do I even care that much right now? Like right now, do I care that much? Like I've known for 10 years. Like for 10 years, I've been following the Epstein thing. I've known like Trump is a fucking pedo. Like Bill Clinton is a rapist. Everyone knows that. Like
you said it, Jared. They're dabbing on us. Chapo had said it originally. Like they're just dabbing on us.
we
Mhm.
knew these guys are horrible people. Like Steven Pinker, that psychologist guy, he was on the island. Who else was there? There was so many. Dershowitz, Alan, that guy, the lawyer
Stephen
who
Hawking,
owned
I think.
Hawking
Oh, yeah,
somehow.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's like all these like business and thought leaders in the Western world are tied to this Epstein character. They're all doing depraved stuff. And we've known this for more than 10 years. But now we're talking about it in the middle of like the Holocaust.
Yeah, I think Noam Chomsky also was a name that was mentioned on the list, and then when he was asked about it, instead of being super like not suspicious about it, being like, "Oh man, I don't know, I wasn't on that. I don't know what you're talking about," he was like, "My relationship with Jeffrey Epstein is none of your business," and it was just like
Who said this?
Chomsky, Noam
Oh,
Chomsky.
ooh,
Cool.
oof.
Yeah, big yikes.
Compatible left moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, compatible left moment.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
and the whole thing really does smell like if you take it all kind of
It's Chinese or Russian
and-
intelligence, right?
uh,
Do you have that? Do you have the picture of that screenshot of that?
Not like available immediately unless somebody wants to link it in the chat, but I'm sure we could find it. But yeah, I
Fucking
mean,
hell.
that's just definitely something we need to talk about. Like the idea that they're even trying to float that. It was somebody on Joe Rogan apparently. I don't know the name of the person, but it was like somebody who's a regular on Joe Rogan. Everyone is saying it's like Joe Rogan's favorite CIA agent guest, and he floated the theory that yeah, Jeffrey Epstein was somehow Chinese or Russian intelligence, and it was like one of those great Twitter accounts we always repost, and they said, yeah, the most obvious Mossad guy ever. Yeah, I'm sure that that guy is Chinese or Russian intelligence. I believe that we should probably invade, right? Like,
I'll do you one better. I think Jeffrey Epstein was actually an alien from another planet. I think that his ability.
I was going to go
to-
North Korean intelligence, but no, you went even further.
North Koreans are also aliens from another planet. Actually,
They pretty
So
much are at this point, right?
So are the Chinese. So are the Russians. You know, and the Israelis too. But they're
You know
the
how
aliens
bad-
that are cool.
Yeah. You know how bad that makes Americans look if that was actually the case? Like, obviously it's not true, but like, if
Yeah.
Chinese or Russian intelligence were running Epstein for like this pedo honeypot operation,
They
Do you
had
know
this
how
guy with a
fucking-
perfect American accent, like a Jewish guy.
Yeah.
Like,
but how stupid Americans look that they're like, yeah, we were able to entrap every single American, well-known American in a pedophile thing. It turns out that yeah, they're all just pedos, and now we have like, it's like
Shul
It's
says, why is
why-
Prince Andrew involved?
well, he's the
Prince
royal, he's
Andrew.
in British royal family. Like they're still that British
That's, I
royal
mean, that's
family.
just
have
like a
a-
testament to Chinese and Russian intelligence. Like they're that powerful. Like you can't have this
They-
enemy that is that strong and that weak at the same time, right?
I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure that Queen Elizabeth was also Chinese.
She was,
yeah. That's another thing that
Well known.
nobody's talking about. Nobody's talking about the fact that Queen Elizabeth is actually in the Chinese Communist Party. She was a secret
Hell yeah, dude.
secretary.
So we all know, obviously, the most sort of rational sort of ML take on Jeffrey Epstein is he was obviously like this guy had no money, right? And then all of a sudden he has a shitload of money. He's well connected. He was he was like a high school maths teacher,
Mhm.
which by the way,
He wasn't even qualified for that, and then he was like
No.
connected to Andrew Barr.
yeah. But by
Then
the
gets into all
way,
these high places like for no
fucking-
reason that makes sense.
Mm. high school maths teacher, Jesus Christ! Like I hope he didn't. Yeah, while he was a teacher.
What do
know
you
he
say? You
did.
hope he didn't diddle kids? Like, what are you talking about? This is the whole thing this guy did. Like, that's all
Yeah.
he did was like inappropriate stuff with kids. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So the most rational, what I was trying to say is the most rational sort of ML take on this whole thing is obviously Epstein, right? Had no money, gets this money all of a sudden, and then he becomes like a financial advisor despite having no qualifications or anything like that. And then he's well connected and all the rest of it. Very obviously, he was a CIA intelligence asset whose job was to honeypot business leaders like the capitalist class and politicians and blackmail them.
just think
On
about it
behalf of
logically.
the
How do you
CIA.
control the most levers of power clandestinely under the like without people
Yeah.
knowing about it? You just blackmail people who are in positions of power, government, private business, or otherwise. It doesn't matter. Like any of them. And if you're working for multiple intelligence
they've just
agencies at the time, like
they just compromise people, and there's benefits to it. Like I was listening to this interview, you know, the TrueAnon podcast.
of
You
course,
heard the TrueAnon podcast? The TrueAnon podcast a few years ago were interviewing a guy who was talking about Jeffrey Epstein and other operations like that, because the CIA has done this all the time. Like they have photographers who take photos. They'll take photos through like politicians' windows of them with their like mistress or something like that. Back when that actually mattered, like that, back when that was the thing that would like, like in the 90s, if you had like a scandal where someone was cheating on their wife, you would resign in disgrace. Now no one gives a shit if you do that, because the bar of like what's bad is like so much worse and more depraved than back then. Like cheating and being corrupt isn't enough anymore. They're like, well, we have to get these guys being pedos, because
that's
that's
the
the,
surprise.
like,
Like, what was that happened to Mark Weiner? Joseph, you might know. I don't know. I haven't.
I don't know
like-
Mark Weiner.
He was like a Democratic politician who had to resign disgrace because he sent like a dick pic, but like it was so appropriate
yes,
for
I remember
him
that.
for his name. But like, I don't think it was to a minor. I'm gonna look like an idiot if it was, but like, I don't like. Why did he have to resign for that? Like, I remember it was like, didn't he send it to Huma Abedin or some shit? Like, or he
I
was
don't
with
remember
Huma
exactly.
Abedin who was cheating or something. Maybe that was who.
I don't remember who it was that he sent it to, but he was like was he a congressman, Mark Weiner, or
Something
was
like
he?
that. He's trying to make a comeback also, but like he also had pedo allegations. So I'm not trying to defend the guy. Like I also don't like any Democrats. So don't take me wrong. Like fuck all those genocidal maniacs. Like
It's basically required to be a pedophile or to be a child diddler or a rapist in some capacity to be in American politics, like mainstream politics. You have to be. It's like it's like a rite of passage, because they all go to the same colleges. All those same colleges have hazing rituals. Well, what's the bourgeois ruling class hazing ritual? You need to join the sex ring, you know. And that's, I think that's part of why the QAnon thing was so resonant with so many like poor Republicans that were like, oh yeah, obviously there's like an evil sex trafficking ring that's controlled by the Jews and like reptiles and space aliens, because this is how it works. You know, you have to be one of these things, and because Republicans and conservatives are like, oh man, politicians are evil, right? Except for the few that we think are cool, like Trump, who's going to save the world. You know, he's going to go in there and he's going to bring justice to all these guys, and then that's just another campaign thing, like a promise that's unfulfilled, and then it's another distraction, and then
the minute it turns out their favorite guy, it's like just unequivocal. Everyone knows he's a rapist and a pedophile, etc. They're just like, oh, but he's a white hat pedophile fighting the black hat pedophiles. And it's like, this is what happens. This is what happens when you have no class consciousness. You have no class analysis of anything. That's what
Jared,
happens.
Sorry.
You got to turn your speakers down just a little bit, Jared.
Okay.
Sorry. If you're not
All
going
right,
to
how's
use
that?
headphones, you got to just keep them down.
How's that?
I know. We'll know when Joseph talks again. He's in like the mid range that comes through that way.
Okay.
If you've ever have you guys ever known rich people? Like they're, first of all, they're just bad people. Like they're despicable people. They're gross. They have bad opinions on just about everything. They're mean to other people for no reason. They don't view other people as human, because it takes like a sociopathic kind of mindset to even get to that point to begin with. Especially if you like started out as poor, like you really had to do some shit to like get to that point. If you're born into it, you were just kind of raised into that sociopathic mindset. But like, I've known rich people, and I've been in positions to work for rich people, both in like professional settings, but also in like less professional settings. Like I'm talking about playing music for them, and they will get you drunk just to see you make an ass of yourself, just to like see like what you say around them, and then like hold it against you later, just because it's funny to them. Just like they'll just feel like doing that. Like they're just dick people. They just get off on like manipulating people. Like it's a sickness that goes along with like acquiescing to the capitalist mindset in a way that you really adopt it, like personally, like you really take that on, and you become like a sick treatlerite who's obsessed with like your position of privilege, and you can ignore or acquiesce to just about anything, up to and including genocide. Like they're just bad people. And so to think that there wouldn't be like some kind of like pedophile ring or secret agent operation that just takes advantage of that mindset, like in a way that like yeah, these people are perverts. They're into themselves first and foremost. They're like narcissists. They don't care about anything that happens to other people. So yeah, try to get them to do something that would be publicly, what do you call it? Like, what's the term? Like abhorrent. Like that would make them a pariah. And then hold that over their heads. You can get them to do just about anything, and that's how you can get entire states to act in your interest. Like you just really blackmail a lot of people. Like it is, like I was saying earlier, it's the way to control the most levers of power clandestinely, like without without anyone knowing about it secretly.
Yeah.
Yep.
What the right wing shitheads don't get right is like the deep state, inverted commas, deep state that they keep going on about is just capital. It's just capital, and it's what's running everything. It's capital, capitalism. It's in charge of everything. The intelligence agencies, the so-called deep state, the State Department, all the rest of it, represent the interests of capital and the interests of the capitalist state. There's nothing more to it than that. There's no lizards. There's no Jews. It's nothing like that. It's just representing the interests of capital. That's all
It's
it is.
fraternities, but like all the way
Yeah.
up, because it's just like
Mhm.
that same structure, but like with more and more stakes, with more
It's
and more
an-
money at stake. Like
And it's a system of accountability for them. That's all it is. Like literally, it's like if you're compromised by the blackmail, they've got the videos of you, because Epstein had video cameras in the bedrooms and stuff. Apparently, they've got
Mhm.
videos of all these guys doing this. So if they're compromised, it's like, yeah, you have to toe the line. You
Yeah.
need to represent the interests of the capitalist state and the capitalist ruling class.
Yep, and the state itself, you know, like as Marxists, we should be able to like articulate that, you know, the state isn't this separate public thing from the bourgeoisie, from the rich. The rich are the state, you know, like it's this, you know, if we are going to use that old definition of fascism where it's a mixture of corporate and state power. Well, that's what the United States is, and that's what most capitalism is anyway. Unless you go back to like Adam Smith, where he talks about capitalism being this thing that's, you know, the free market is uninhibited by Epstein.
just a whole bunch of pictures of Epstein.
You know, it really it drives home the point, or rather, I want to drive home the point that that it is capital, right? Capital is what is containing and wrangling all of society, because the ones who are at those levers of power have the military, they have the police, they have you know, international finance capital and like imperialist labor exploitation and like super profits to not only control all of the rich and like in their circles that they have, their fraternities and their patriarchies, but you also have the labor aristocracy in the imperial core that is bought off, right? So they have no vested interest in fighting imperialism from the inside. They because they're just benefiting from it. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, the number of Australians I've spoken to over the last 2 years who've just said to me, "Oh man, seeing what's happening in Gaza has made me so sad. I just stopped watching the news." I was like, "Oh, that's nice. That must be fucking nice." Yeah, you can just
being
turn
able
it
to do
off
that
and not have to think about it ever again, like you fucking asshole. Like,
yeah. I've talked to a couple friends where they're, you know, they're a bit more liberal, you know, and it's just you're friends with people that are liberal sometimes, and it gets harder and harder every day because they will say that kind of shit where it's like, yeah, actually, I hope Iran bombs the United States or bombs a U.S. base, and their immediate reaction is to be like, how could you say that? How could you say that? Like, what is wrong with you? Do you want us all to die? And it's like, you think you're so fucking special that Iran is going to bomb you and your family and your house in
I'm also not
the
on a
middle-
military base. Like,
yeah, like even if we're living close to one, it doesn't matter. They're focused on the U.S. imperialist bases that are like surrounding them, literally on their own borders across the fucking planet. And you're so myopically focused on your own problems that you think that the boogeyman is going to launch a nuke at you. You know, and that's like the level the insane level of U.S. propaganda that's just infected every fucking liberal mind. You know, it's the liberal mind virus, but like actually for real. You know,
It's like the saber rattling that goes on here against China in Australia. It's like really bad in Australia. So like, even though China is our number one trading partner by far, and China buys, because Australia has like basically the most natural resources in the world. Like most of the world's iron ore comes from Australia, like 85%. We have most of the world's coal. We have most of the world's uranium. We have most of the world's gold. We just have diamonds as well. We have most of the world's diamonds.
Damn.
Like we have
That's
all
crazy.
the fucking resources.
I really thought that was all Africa, but okay.
I thought so too. Yeah, that's wild.
We have comparable amount. We have a little bit more than the African continent,
Mhm.
and we're
Well, considering like the size, like that's actually
we're a country of 27 million people that is on a landmass the size of the United States that has 27 million people that has 1/5.
Jared is like low-key Australian nationalist. Like when he comes out with these
Yeah.
stats this way, it's just like
No, I'm
he
just
really
saying.
knows like the agriculture
it's
is going to hold up
important.
for a long
It's
time. Like the material
It's-
resources.
I
gonna
think
hold
it's
up.
important to put in perspective what the labor aristocracy is. And it's when there's 27 million people living on stolen land, stolen Aboriginal land, who have all the natural resources in the fucking world, all of them, more than a lot of other countries combined. And yeah, we our biggest trading partner is China, sorry, and yet we constantly saber rattle with them because we have like 50 American bases here, and Pine Gap and all the rest of it. And
Mhm.
you talk to people here, and they're like, we don't have anything to do with Gaza. We're not involved in that. And it's like, bro, Pine Gap is the number one surveillance base in the world for the US military, and it's in Australia, and it's used to triangulate Israeli airstrikes and stuff in Gaza. It's literally, we are the most complicit you could be. We
Mhm.
pay to have those. We pay for those bases. That's the thing with
Yeah,
American
you're
bases.
supposed to get paid. Like
No, the host country pays for the bases. That's the funny thing. Did you know that?
yeah, you're cucked.
What the
That's kind of cucked.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So they put the bases in the country. The government of that country pays. That's how the US does it. Because the US couldn't actually afford to have bases all over the world. You know how fucking expensive it would cost trillions of dollars every year, trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars every year to have the bases. How does the US pay for it? Well, they pay for it because they don't pay for the bases. Like they pay the troops wages and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But like the bases themselves, the infrastructure, everything else, the protection of the bases is paid for by the countries that are there. The security.
Is that just like always the case? Because this is like totally news to me. I just assumed that was all in the military budget that we all know is
No.
like exorbitant, super bloated.
It's always been
Wow.
the case. The host country pays, and
Wow.
that's just one.
That's
that-
crazy.
It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because like it's just another form of colonialism. It's military occupation, and then the economy itself has to, of those imperialized countries, has to bolster up the U.S. military base, right?
Dude.
So they're extracted.
Yeah, Alex just called us suckers. He's right.
This is about
Like,
suckers.
I was in Darwin. Do you know Darwin up north of Australia? Darwin,
Yeah,
where
sure.
there's a big US air base up there. It's like a well-known US air base. It's where it got bombed during World War II, and like it was used to fight. Because we were up in Indonesia and all those islands fighting the Japanese with the Americans.
Mhm.
And so we have all these bases. The one up in Darwin, I was up there, and that's the biggest base by far. It has like 10,000 Marines or something like that. And I'm walking around.
10,000
like-
rapists, 10,000
This is like a
murderers,
capital city in
10,000 rapists.
Australia. And I'm just walking
10,000
around, and
maniacs.
There's soldiers. There's American soldiers in uniform walking around. I'm like, what
Mhm.
the fuck is this? I was like, who are these guys? Like,
Go back to
Get
your
out.
country.
go away! Like, what are
Go
you
back
doing?
to your country.
Yeah.
No, that actually
Like-
makes less sense to me. Like, it doesn't make more sense. It makes less sense. Like, it makes me realize, like, more surprised that countries have not revolted more against those American bases if they're having to pay for them. Like, how is that not a political talking point for even like the local politicians. Like maybe if the
Oh, because
national
we-
ones I get,
They're
if
bought
they're big
off.
in the pocket, but like they gotta be. They all gotta be compradors and capos. It sucks. Like
Oh,
Absolutely,
because China's
absolutely.
a bigger threat, mate. China
oh
who
yeah, China's just
China
worse
who
somehow.
needs Australia
Chinese
for its-
imperialism is real.
China who like is their economy is very reliant on Australian natural resources. Like they're building, you know how China's building all this infrastructure in their country, all these railways, all these
Mhm.
cities, all this high-speed rail. Most of that iron ore comes from Australia. Why the fuck would they go to war with Australia?
Hmm. Yeah.
Why would they? Why we
Until
just
they can
trade with
replace
them.
you with Africa. Until they build enough belts and roads in Africa, then they don't need Australia anymore. Then you're really in trouble.
Oh no.
Mhm.
Oh no.
It
But
just
yeah,
makes
that-
you think of. Sorry, you go
yeah,
ahead.
the saber rattling towards China in the context of we're literally being militarily occupied by the United States. 50 bases, by the way, 50
Mm.
in it. Yeah.
I
Just insane.
I just keep thinking about like to kind of tie it back to Epstein for a second. The-
I was gonna say
the-
we
the-
can move on to the next topic since we're not on Epstein at all anymore.
right. I just wanted to say one thing. I think it's funny how, you know, American liberals and more like explicit like anti Semites and like, you know, right wing fascist Nazis in America that are like, yeah, the Jews are evil and Israel is controlling the United States. It's just another permutation of that like complete like lack of political literacy and geopolitical understanding, and they look at imperialism that happens all over the world that the United States is conducting, and they look at how many bases we have and how it's an absolute necessity, but at the same time the Jews are controlling it. Like that,
Mhm.
the cognitive dissonance is so loud, it's deafening. You know.
I mean, to be consistent, like it would actually make sense in like a historical sense if you read a history book 100 years from now, if those exist, if they're still humans, and you read this history book and it says like the U.S. was this empire that existed after like it really bloomed after World War II, took over for the British Empire, and then created this or after Britain created it, it took over this outpost in the Middle East called Israel, and
Mhm.
Israel was this like very high tech and sophisticated client state that eventually blackmailed enough politicians in America that the U.S. became subordinate to its colonial outpost. Like not in a way that's like Protocols of Zion, but like literally just the CIA operation of Jeffrey Epstein that we're talking about. Like the way that we've
Mhm.
just described it thus far, it's like it all just actually makes sense. Like you could see exactly how that would happen. Like I don't understand exactly why Biden was such a Zionist, other than he just really believed in it and somehow in like some really other sick way, like to not be on the. It's like anybody who's on the fucking Epstein list, that of course doesn't exist, but also doesn't need to exist because it's just like a compilation of the clients we already know are fucking are out there. Like we already know exist. Yeah, like other than being on the it's like if you're on that list, you're sick. If you're a client of his, you're sick in a different way. If you just believe in Zionism and like it was weird. Like I heard a QAnon episode, a QAnon Anonymous episode. They were saying that they don't think Biden is a pedophile. They're like, yeah, Biden was like a rapist, like that Tara Reid thing and whoever else. But I don't think he's like a pedophile. I'm like, wait, what? What
the
about all the
fuck?
sniffing kids? Like we all saw that. Like unless that was was I duped? Was I falling for QAnon propaganda with all the sniffing kids or whatever? I don't know. But either way, like
Dude.
the genocide is bad enough. He doesn't have to be a pedophile. Like the genocide is bad enough for me, and I don't understand why Biden would have done it if he's not on the Epstein client list or whatever. Other than just really being a Zionist, it's all bad. Like it's all just really bad. But all in the historical sense, it just makes sense that yeah, Israel is just a colonial outpost that took control through these underhanded methods that were tried and true. Like they have done honeypots dozens and dozens of times and know how those things kind of work. It's not hard to do, and they obviously don't care about people's lives. They will sacrifice children, obviously, for the sake of doing their nefarious deeds. They don't care.
It's probably like a back and forth kind of relationship, I guess. But I do think ultimately Israel is completely subordinate to the USA. Like materially, it's reliant on the USA, but at the same time, Israel would have compromised enough American politicians and capitalist business owners to
You just think the
ensure
US
that
would have given
relationship.
up on it at some point before
continues
now, like otherwise,
to ensure
right?
that relationship continues. Sorry.
It just doesn't seem in the U.S.'s interest, right?
It is like it's always it's still in their interest. Like it's in their material interest. It's just an aircraft. Like Israel's just an aircraft carrier for the US. It's just a US military base pretending to be a country.
Yeah,
It's
it's the same thing with Qatar,
Yeah.
because Qatar is just one gigantic U.S. military base as well, and it's less so that the United States like needs the resources in the Middle East. They don't need it. Like we have oil here on like North American soil. It's
don't you
it's the fact
produce-
that it's
don't you
they-
produce
you-
enough
you know-
oil for your entire country? Like enough for yourself and like Canada and
Yes,
I guess
but the
yeah.
but the real pin that holds it all together is the fact that the East Asia is this really critical location because it's in between Europe, it's in between India and China and Russia and Africa. It's this point where everything kind of economically converges on itself. And the fact that the United States it's doing its imperialism, right? It has to expand its empire to every corner of the globe. If the United States could invade Mexico, they would right now. If it was absolutely like no consequences, they would invade Mexico. They would invade Canada. They would, or at least what Trump is doing right now with like the posturing of being like, yeah, we might invade Canada or whatever. Like, it's an empire that is imperialist all over the globe, but it's also very expansionist, and it's been that way all throughout the US's history. And think about the Philippines during World War II. That was a landed aircraft carrier for the United States against Japan.
Still is.
And and it's still
not
is
against
today.
Japan, but China.
There's
now.
like tons of countries. Like,
Yeah, I mean, there's so many across the world, and Israel is just another one of those. It's the fact that there's so much discourse for because of the Jewish exceptionalism in the United States and like Zionism and all that, it becomes muddied when we have these conversations because we have to contend with the argument that says the Jews rule the world. And we have to be like, well, obviously that's not true. Like that's like I have to refute that just on the face of it because it's just so insane, and it's super racist too. But like when people equate like the Jewish exceptionalism with the United States being subordinated to it, it's crazy, and it doesn't make geopolitical economic sense. Like thinking about it in terms of like the finance capital that's involved.
If the USA cut Israel off, it would collapse within weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reality. Whereas if the Israel cut off the USA would be fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
and the fact that Israel is this entry point into East Asia or West Asia, sorry. They're going to border Syria and then eventually Russia. It's like these places all have material advantages and strategic locations, like with the United States having 1 million bases in like every fucking country that surrounds Iran, for example. It's so fucked up. It's just so fucked up. I don't even know what else to say about it.
no, it's imperialism. I did want to switch over to the next topic. We can talk about Zoran Mamdani. So I just started queuing up a bunch of things that I just searched Zoran on Twitter, and like the topic that you had listed in the Discord, Jared, was that like it's like negative towards Zoran because as Marxists, we're not going to be favorable to a social democratic politician working within the Democratic Party. You're over in Australia. You have no stake in the game. But you had said like Zoran already sold out. Like you're giving the Fell Forward Award again to Soc Dems. And you were talking about, you were tying it into AOC, who's again already sheepdogging for the genocide in Gaza. But I guess like since we've been streaming, I don't know when this happened, but there's some kind of like shooting in New York. So I'm going to share my tab here so you can see like the context. There's, I guess, some guy who must
What
have
the
used
fuck
some
is
kind of,
wrong
like,
with your country? Jesus Christ, man! Like,
So many
Yeah.
things.
oh yeah. By the way, just since we started, 5 minutes ago, there was another shooting. And just like,
I don't
okay,
even notice
Oh, look at that!
recent.
Another shooting.
It may not be, but we will see. Hold on. Somebody in the chat can give us some kind of
your
context.
guys' favorite thing to do in America is just mass shootings.
I
Like,
opened up too many tabs. I'm sorry, you guys.
Yeah. It's the mass shootings in the United States is like such a crazy mixture of things. Okay, here we go.
So
oh,
yeah, what did
damn,
this guy do?
What the fuck?
that's a crazy fit. I shouldn't say. I don't know anything about this, but
I mean,
shouldn't
some
say
guy
anything.
looks like the fucking Weekend in like a with Chucks on. He says, "Yeah, Zoran Mamdani, one of your jihadi friends, just shotgunned some people in Manhattan. Should we send the police or should we abolish the police?" There's some kind of like anti-Mamdani super PAC that is forming. Let me just switch some tabs here. Let's see. Somebody says Zoran would have sent social workers to handle the shooter. Someone else says a preview of Zoran's NYC.
Oh yeah, because
This is just already fucking New York. Like people think that shootings and shit like that are just they're gonna fucking see all the things that are continuously happening and have had almost no change except for an acceleration in conditions, and they're gonna say, see, this is because of the leftists, this is because of the fucking Democrats. And it's like, bro, this is already the status quo. It's just getting worse.
I also
Yeah, I
like
don't
the idea
know-
of them. I like the
He's not
idea
mayor
of them
yet.
being
Like,
like, this is what's going to happen when Zoran's in power. And it's like, bro, this just happened when he's not in power. Like, this is now. He's not in power.
The Islamophobia.
Like, not that it fucking matters if he's in power or not. Obviously, this, as Joseph just said, this fucking shooting, Zoran's not going to change anything in New York at all. Or maybe what day the bins go out or some shit. But like,
yeah, right.
as I've said before, but like, he's a fucking mayor. He's not going to do anything. Like, the shootings will continue. The New York police will continue being racist.
The shootings will continue until morale improves.
Well, you guys saw
the New York Police Department will continue being racist. Like, there's not going to be like I don't know what people think is going to happen. Like,
you saw the. Do you guys see the video of the guy on the subway who got his arm broken by NYPD?
No.
So he was just some dude who I think he literally, I think he paid his fare, and then the police stopped him and just fucking pummeled him to the ground and handcuffed him. And it's like, this is just normal, you know? This is when people are like, oh, this is the new normal. No, this has been normal for forever. In 1930 something, there was a fucking Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden, you know? And it was before Hitler had fully come to power, I think. The
Hitler
whole
came to
country
power in 33.
33. Yep. Okay. I think it was. I forget the time exactly, but anyways,
We do Hitler facts on this show, guys.
we got to have our Hitler shit down.
Yeah, we gotta. Yeah, World War II knowledge.
Fucking NYPD. You know,
Yeah.
and it's like the conditions for somebody going around and shooting, just like randomly shooting people, wouldn't even be a thing if the United States wasn't a capitalist hellhole. Oh my god, I love that. the fucking AOC thing, man.
That was the next topic on the list, was AOC already just being like what did we mention? Like just shilling for Israel, obviously, but she was like,
She's a Zionist.
she ran to the Blue Sky app. Like, that was what she did. Like, Caitlin Johnson pointed it out. She was like, she ran to the liberal app to cry about all the leftists on Twitter, pointing out that she was like a shill for Zionism. And like, I don't know why people singled her out. I guess because she was like one of the, what was it, like the no vote to defund the Iron Dome something. I just don't care. I also haven't paid that much attention to it, but it was on our topic list a week ago, so it's coming up now. But I also think this graphic is really funny. Shout out to Good Vibe Politic AOC when she sees an Israeli weapons shipment, but it's labeled as quote defensive, and she's just at a Hitler rally. It's very funny.
Yep. I mean, I think the bill was to, it was to cut funding for defensive stuff, right? Or like to cut funding for some sort of military aid to
Right,
Israel.
right.
And she was like, no, Israel has a right to defend itself.
It was
So
it was for the Iron Dome. So
Yeah,
she
yeah.
was like, "Oh, we shouldn't give Israel weapons to attack and do its genocide in Gaza." And you know what's crazy is she refers to it as a genocide as well, but then she's like doing this.
But still, the Israelis should be able to defend themselves from the rockets, even though
Yeah.
the people, like, by international law, who have a right to defend themselves from occupation, that would be Palestinians, that would be Hamas, that would be like Al Qassam brigades, even like whoever. Not saying that like we are supporting them explicitly in whatever way gets any of us in trouble, let alone Jared. Like Jared, I know you have like strict laws about that shit. Just saying, like by international law, there's a reason that the U.S. started talking about the rules-based international order during the Biden presidency. That was a policy decision. Just saying, they're not going to announce that, but like there's a reason they say rules-based international order and not international law anymore. Just saying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It just means
And, like-
American empire. That's all that means.
Yep. And like the UN fucking mattered anyway to begin with. It was just a anti-communist Nazi coalition.
Yeah.
Basically.
Dude, I was watching. I watched that movie yesterday, Hotel Rwanda, right?
Mm.
About the Rwandan genocide, and the UN in that, it's like crazy. They had soldiers in the country while the Hutus, that the Tutsis were being genocided. Up to 1 million people were killed, right? They had UN in the country armed, and their orders, and this international coalition, Pakistanis, mostly Belgium, and again, just Belgium troops back there, like, come on. But like they just stood by. And they're like, no, our orders are non-intervention. We're not an intervention force, blah blah blah. So we just have to let a genocide happen. It's like, what the fuck what's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
Like the UN is incapable of doing anything other than like furthering American imperialism.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember
Yep.
watching the movie back in like 06, 07, like way back, and I was like, that was like my first taste of understanding how evil and despicable colonialism was. Because like, I remember there's a line somebody in the movie says like the Dutch like created the distinction between like the Hutus and
Belgians.
the Tutsi, or the Belgians. Sorry, yeah, they're like they created the whole distinction between the two tribes that are even fighting with each other. Like they did that. Like it's not
So-
something
so
that we did. Like they just
they
took
were
advantage of it and did it.
They're
Like,
completely invented races, and because race is a social construct. Obviously, race isn't
Yep.
real, but like the Belgium were literally just like, and this is a tool of colonial control. They were like, people who had lighter skin and were taller were Tutsis. That's it. They gave them Tutsi cards, and then they had racial identification
fucked up,
cards.
dude.
And then people who were shorter and darker, who were 90% of the population, were Hutus. And then that they put that 10% of the population who were Tutsis into. By the way, there's no difference between these two groups of people. These racial groups are completely made up. There's very little historical ties or anything like that. Belgium just invented this, and then it was embedded in their society through, colonial and racist oppression. And years and years later, when the Tutsis are no longer in control, the Hutus, the Tutsis, who were a lot of them were in control, they were the agents of the Belgians. When the Hutus gained in power, and they would have because they were 90% of the population, the genocide is sort of for them like a retaliation against them. Like it had been set, and this all just came from, not that genocide can ever be retaliation, but you know what I mean. It all came from, its origins were all in just Belgian colonialism, European colonialism. It all comes back to that in the end. And that's the UN as well. The UN is just a fucking tool of colonialism. Peacekeeping, like the peacekeeping mission that went to Rwanda during that time. Peacekeeping is just having a fucking foreign occupation of your country that doesn't seem to do anything other than protect like rich people. Like the UN soldiers, all they did was, their job was to smuggle get all the Europeans out of the country so they were safe. That was the thing that they did. Is
Yeah.
the UN
They love
got
doing
all
that.
the Europeans out of the country, and they're like, "Hey, are you gonna you're there with you have an assault rifle and there's thousands of you. Are you gonna shoot the armed mobs that are hacking people to death with machetes?" And they're like, "Oh no, we can't get involved in politics."
It's like the police in the United States, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, fuck AOC.
Yeah, again, not quite related, but yeah. It's more like the police in the USA just turning a blind eye to all these systemic abuses and murder, to social murder through like pollution and systemic abuses, and then nitpicking about like petty theft, murdering people over a $20 bill, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Breaking a guy's arm for a $2 subway fare, you know.
George Floyd got murdered for allegedly, I don't even know if this was even true, but using a fake note.
Dude, I remember when that video came out, when it literally the whole recording where you just watch the life get fucking sucked out of him because the guy's neck is being crushed by the fucking officer's knee. Like, that was a radicalizing moment for me. I was already pretty radical before that, but seeing that was like, you know, kind of felt like a sort of emotional precursor to actually seeing footage of children being torn to shreds in Gaza.
Well, getting back on the AOC thing, here's this. Let me see if you can hear this. Tell me if you guys can hear this.
Conversation today, and welcome. I'm incredibly excited for us to be doing this. In a minute, we're going to be hearing from two
She's so
of the
fucking
foremost
fake, man.
experts
I can't listen to her speak.
From two of some of the most foremost experts in the country in fighting anti-Semitism in America. And before we get to that panel, though, I want to talk a little bit about why we're doing this, and most importantly, why we're doing it now. Anti-Semitism, hate, and violence against Jews because of their identity is real, and it is dangerous. It is also important to say here in this moment and during that conversation that criticism of the Israeli government is not inherently anti-Semitic, and criticism of Zionism is not automatically anti-Semitic. That being true does not mean that we should not recognize when criticism and when that criticism crosses a line into real harms against our Jewish community.
I don't care.
Freestyle
Today,
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
That was
Free Palestine, bitch.
I was expecting something worse, but like, who is Sabby Sabs? Like, that seems like kind of nitpicky. I don't know. It wasn't that
I have
bad.
no idea. But I'm just like, I hear that, and I'm just like, there's a genocide happening. I don't care.
Yeah,
Like,
also that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, anti-Semitism is bad. It's terrible. I hate anti-Semitism.
That was just captioned with, remember when AOC conflated anti-Semitism with anti-Zionism? She's been playing both sides. I don't know. I didn't hear her directly do that. That sounds like something that I would also say, which is that like, it's not cool to be anti-Semitic, but also it's not cool to be Zionist or pro-Zionist in any fucking way. And
What she's doing
and
is
Zionism
she's
is
saying,
anti-Semitic. Like,
she said that it's sometimes anti-Zionism crosses the line and becomes anti-Semitic. It's like, I mean, obviously there are some people who are anti-Semitic and they do that, obviously, but it's such a non-issue. It's such a minority of people. It's like a non-issue. Like, actual anti-Semites are like neo-Nazis, and often Nazis support Israel, right? So like a lot of anti-Semites support Israel. I know in Australia there's a big Nazi split in the well-known sort of Nazi groups in Australia. Half of them are pro-Israel, half of them aren't. That's the big split, because they view Israel as a perfect model for what they want their white state to be. It's the perfect model for them. And then the other half are like, no, they're Jewish. We hate them. So like, there is an element of anti-Semitism among some people who are anti-Zionist, but it's such a small fucking group of people that it's fucking irrelevant.
It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Fucking matter.
I'm not seeing videos on my phone of Jewish kids getting blown up. I'm not seeing Jewish kids starve to death. Like, I'm not seeing the Holocaust happen in 2025. What I'm seeing is Palestinians starving to death in 2025. I'm seeing Palestinians be blown to pieces in 2025. So I don't want to cater to to the feelings of white Jewish people.
Yeah, I mean, like, think
Like-
if the roles were reversed, let's say, and that it wasn't a Jewish state that existed, it was if you want to use the terms that they like to use, like an Arab state that had a Jewish minority in an open air concentration camp like Gaza. What if there was a Jewish Gaza and like a Palestinian majority Israel, quote unquote, and we were seeing videos of kids being blown up, houses being destroyed, children starving to death, like the whole 9 yards. There would be no question in Western media if this was like anti-Semitic or if it was at the very least genocide, or ethnic cleansing. But because it's the other way around in reality, there has to be this inversion of reality in the West. It's the Jewish exceptionalism that is basically white supremacy just repackaged in a new way.
It also helps that the victims are brown people, that they are overwhelmingly Muslim people, which people have been bred for like the last 25 years or so to be scared of. They have literally been inculcated into this mindset of being scared of Muslim people, being scared of anyone with like some kind of clothing that looks different. It's really bad. Like the racism goes so deep that, like you were describing earlier, Joseph, like being friends with liberal people, and I can't do it. Like I've been openly hostile to these people, and I just cannot do it. I'm at the point now where like I still text these people who like used to be good friends of mine and became they don't admit it, but they became racist. Like if your party starts committing a fucking genocide against brown people and you won't even speak out against it or express your interest to not vote for the person that they're putting up because they're responsible for the genocide, like you became racist. You took on a right-wing position. That's how the fascists did it. Like we've learned that lesson so many times in history books. Like you should understand that's how it fucking happens. You have this group, you dehumanize them, you just took on the genocide, you overlooked it, and you expressed the interest to continue voting for those people. And I still text these people, and they read my messages, and they will not text me back because they're fucking cowards. They're stupid, fucking shitty, bad people. Like I'm telling them in the clearest words I possibly can, they're shitty, bad people, and I'm going to continue talking about them publicly in every platform that I can. And that's what I do. Like I keep posting about fucking the vegans who are racist landlords at Blackbird Animal Refuge. I keep posting about the fucking drug dealer who works at the Berlin Overhead Door Company. That's Doug Marshall. Like anybody wants to go look this guy up in Jersey. He lives in Bucks County. He's a prominent drug dealer, and he's a bad person. These are bad people. Like I don't like these people, and I express how much I just am disgusted with them. Like they're shitty people. That's like I don't know how people are still friends with these kind of people who will vote for Kamala Harris, who is expressly a proponent of this genocide, like, and then act like they're going to condescend to leftists who didn't vote for genocide because they voted for Kamala, and now we have Trump who's also doing genocide. It doesn't get worse. It's still fucking genocide. Like it's the same fucking thing. Like it doesn't get worse just because Trump is like more racist about it, more open about it. Like the genocide was fucking happening. You were just ignoring it. You were always the problem if you voted for these Democrats. Like it's that fucking simple. It's not a complicated issue at all. And I'm never going to like stop talking about it. I'm never going to stop saying this shit. So like people actually going to have to change their minds because it's also not going away. Like it's not going to get to this point where like, oh, the genocide is like a forgotten thing. Like, no, you're just going to be on the record as someone who was not against this when it was like very well known and is like doubling down on that now. Even when even Democrats are saying this is a genocide, when even the New York fucking Times, an Israeli columnist, is saying this is a genocide. Like you have no fucking excuses.
Yeah, I think that it even saying something as simple and like relatively non-controversial as ACAB will just rile some people up and be like, actually, not all police are bad. My so-and-so, my relative is a cop, and like, so you're saying that they're a bastard? And it's like,
fucking all liberals are bad.
Yeah,
fuck cops. Like all liberals are bad. Like,
yeah, all liberals are bastards. All fucking liberals are objectively the moderate wing of fascism. Stalin said that almost 100 years ago, and it's still true. It is still like 100% true. And the fascism is just the fighting arm of liberalism. Liberalism is this whole thing that is mystified and inverted in reality to be this like central position, when in reality anyone who's a centrist or is a fence sitter or something like that, they're complicit. It is what Malcolm X said about the white liberal being way more insidious than the Republican, because they will tell you that they're friend and then stab you in the back. You know, it's so fucked up.
Unless you're speaking out, unless you're doing everything you actively can, unless you're donating to people in Gaza, unless you're doing other actions in inverted commas, you're complicit.
Absolutely. And
absolutely.
you know, yeah.
I wanted to ask you guys, like, because I think I brought this up before, but like the bare minimum that I ask of people, it's like if you are by no choice of your own, you're complicit in the genocide because you got to pay taxes, you got to live here, you have no fucking choice. The bare minimum is to just be vocal about it. Just say like what is happening very clearly, and then express your intent to not vote for the fucking party of genociders. Like say that you're not going to vote for either of the major parties because they're both complicit and intent on doing that genocide.
And when you come across a Zionist in your everyday life, you shut them down, and they start talking Zionist bullshit. You shut them down immediately every single time. I was in a class recently, right? I'm doing a course for my uni degree at the moment on Aboriginal history. And this person, who shall remain nameless, was in the chat in the meeting, and this person said, they were like, why are we, I'm in inner city Sydney with a large Jewish population, right? Why do I have to teach these kids about Aboriginal history? It's not really relevant to them. Shouldn't we be teaching our kids in Australia about anti-Semitism and the Holocaust instead? I was like, bitch, you're on Aboriginal land. You are on Aboriginal land. What the fuck? What are you fucking talking about?
Yeah.
Like I was in that meeting, and I didn't put it like that because I would get kicked out of university. But like, I was literally just like, we are in Australia, so we learn about Australia, which means learning about Aboriginal people who own the land. This is their land. This belongs to them. This is their land. That's what we learn about. What the fuck do Jewish people have to do with the history of Australia? There weren't even Jewish people here until 200 years ago. Prior to that, you have 60,000 years of Aboriginal history. Why would we talk about a minority among white people, a subsection of white people? Because that's what they are. They're just white people.
Even fucking calling it Australia is like, that's fucking racist. It's like, you have no idea what it would be called, because it wouldn't be called one thing, because it would have been like
a whole bunch
however
of
many different tribes, like all just operating in their different areas, controlling the land, like for hundreds of thousands of years, better than people are obviously doing it now, because they didn't create climate change. They didn't fucking ruin the shit now.
1,000. So we know they were here for at least 60,000 years. And there were 1,000 Aboriginal nations. Nation is the term we use. And yeah, and that's what you need to do when you talk to Zionists. That was a very roundabout way of saying it, but like that was just an example of a Zionist in my everyday life.
Always brings it back to fucking Australia, man.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's
almost like
I live here or something.
I do like it. It's great.
Yeah. But I just couldn't get over this fucking inner city Sydney. Fucking Sydney people, man. Oh, fucking Sydney people.
They're the worst.
No, just imagine a New Yorker.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, not even actually worse than that, because New York's more like Melbourne. Sydney is more like DC, I would say. It's like Washington, DC, that kind of like fucking tech bro dorks and like
climbers.
Yeah. So yeah, if the Zionist starts talking because she's not explicitly like talking about Israel or anything like that, but this is like a dog whistle when they're saying things like, why don't we learn about the Holocaust, or why don't we learn about Jewish history or anti-Semitism in our schools? Like, is there a reason why she's bringing that up in right now in this context? It's like, obviously a Zionist doing Zionist stuff, and as if you don't learn about the Holocaust. By the way, you do learn about the Holocaust in school, and also like you learn about the Holocaust via osmosis, cultural osmosis, by existing. Like, it's the most documented genocide in history, and you should know about it. Obviously, it was fucking horrible. Like 12 million people died. 6 million Jews, 6 million of other groups of people, and then there were various other genocides during World War II. But you learn about that via sort of cultural osmosis, and you still it's not like you're not learning about that.
Yeah, it's like in the United States where, you learn about Christopher Columbus in history class, and it's like, yeah, he discovered America, and they're still using that kind of language in the U.S. Where Europeans came here, started enslaving people, killing people, mass murdering, and mass genociding, and our capital in the country is literally called the District of Columbia, Columbus. You know what I mean? Like
Gross.
the fucking through line of cultural heritage that Christopher Columbus represents to people in the United States today. It's the same thing with Theodore Herzl with Zionism as like its theoretical kind of backbone, or its like theoretical roots, grandfather Zionism or father or whatever. And I think I've talked about this before, but like Thomas Jefferson, guy who literally wrote the Declaration of Independence for the United States, was an expansionist imperialist. Like he envisioned the American empire to span all the way from the North Pole to the South Pole. Like the whole fucking thing would be the United States. And it's this Jeffersonian bullshit that Hitler was inspired by, And like if people want to say, oh well, maybe Jefferson was a Hitlerite, maybe Columbus was a Hitlerite. No, Hitler was a Columbusite. Hitler was a fucking Jeffersonianite.
Hitler was like a weeboo for America. He was an Ameriboo.
He was. He was. He totally fucking was. And then modern day Israel is just a further permutation. It's an evolution of it, looking at it, how shit changes over time. They learned some of the lessons, and they're like, okay, we can't we can't be that crazy, so we have to hide it more. We have to hide it behind anti-Semitism. We have to hide all of our Jewish genocidal tactics behind this shield of anti-Semitism. That is like, anytime you fucking criticize them, suddenly you're an anti-Semite and you're a racist. And it's like, no, bro, you're a fucking white colonizer and you deserve to die.
Yeah. Yeah. Petrus
Exactly.
From Manifest Destiny to Laban's Realm to Zionism. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a straight through line.
Yep.
The next topic that we had on the list was EV sales had plummeted, I guess in the US, or as compared to China at least, because basically like the headlines I've seen lately is that China is dominating the EV sales globally. It's like a third of the global market of EV sales. So that's bad for Tesla. That's really good, not good news for Tesla, who was also depending, I guess, on the subsidy that was like the whole spark of the fight between Trump and Elon Musk to begin with. That was like drama for like 2 weeks. Couple months ago, if anybody remembers. I don't know. We were probably already over it by the time we last streamed. It was like just like a flash in the pan kind of thing. They're already like making up. Nobody cares. He did his doggy shit. He did the government doggy style. He got what he wanted. He was out. So, but this, I guess we'll read this tweet. It says, but globally, Tesla is struggling. Its EV market share fell from 75% in 2022 to 50% in 2024 in the US alone. This year brought its biggest sales decline ever. First back-to-back yearly drops, and profits crashed 71%. Chinese competitors are winning through aggressive pricing.
Tesla's the Cybertruck, right? That car.
Yeah.
You can't even buy that in most countries because it doesn't pass basic safety regulations. You can't buy it here. You can't buy it in most European countries because it's not a safe car. If it hits you, it'll split you in half. It doesn't have fucking it doesn't have crumple zones.
Sound.
Oh, that was just literally somebody down on my street. Like they just did it.
Speak as the devil, man. Fucking Tesla, crazy fucker, going yo.
But I don't get this one of the more fucked up things about one of the fucked up things about capitalism is like Tesla, despite making all this, Tesla's not like good at doing capitalism. Elon Musk is not great at doing capitalism, and yet he is just constantly like rewarded for it.
Hmm.
Like no matter what he does, no matter
I mean,
what any
speak
of
of
his,
another CIA agent.
yeah,
or
no matter
asset, I
what
mean,
he does or what his companies do, his Tesla people, the Big Short guy, the guy from the Big Short, who Michael Burry or whatever, who
Oh, yeah.
predicted the GFC and put a short position on the housing market and made billions of dollars because of that. Really smart guy. He put a short position on Tesla to fall to zero, and he would have also made like tens of billions of dollars off that. But he had to pull out of his short position because basically
the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent.
Yep.
It doesn't make any
there's no
sense, but Tesla just keeps failing upwards. It doesn't make any sense. It's almost like it's propped up from some kind of like secret other thing that we just don't know about publicly, but is also wielding a heavy hand in the market, like with lots of actual money and influence that actually does have some kind of power. It's like this weird clandestine deep state thing that has like money and power. It's weird.
Yeah, there's no rationality to capitalism at all. Yeah, sales. Any other car company with sales plummeting like that would have gone out of business.
I wish I lived in China.
apparently Elon Musk is back to making rockets, in his words.
Yeah,
So is SpaceX like doing more space shit, or are they literally like part of the military industrial complex now?
Well, I mean, so I don't know what theories you guys have, but it seems like the US is banking on space being the new thing that's going to save them. Like they've kind of given up on like working on terrestrial infrastructure, trying to like actually improve their own country. They're banking on like tech and space and all the ephemeral kind of ethereal things. Whereas China, like I don't know if I've said this publicly in Discord or like to you guys even, but like here's my quick take on like why China is going to have the next century when you factor in climate change. You know how it's kind of like a meme that everybody in the US knows that China has all these cities that we don't even know the name of, but they have like millions of people, like more than New York City. And we're just so like culturally ignorant about that we just don't even know that those cities exist, let alone like the names of them or anything like that. And for some reason, because we're Americans and just so white centric and arrogant, we don't think that that's a reflection of our own white supremacy and just like ignorance and just like our own. It's not a failure on our part. It's that those guys all suck in some way that like they're not culturally relevant for us to know about them, right? So because they did that, because China has all these cities that are like billions of people strong or millions of people strong or whatever, and we don't even know about them, I think it also stands to reason that if they don't have it already, they also have the productive capacity to build in the next couple of decades in time to account for climate change, some kind of underground infrastructure equal to that will actually like withstand the crazy unpredictable consequences of weather that we cannot possibly foresee or even fathom with our brains that have never experienced it. Like it just stands to reason that if anybody has that productive capacity to weather the storm, like if again on the reading series I read through that entire Busy Workers Handbook to the Apocalypse, and like the more realistic climate scientists, the people who are not bought off by all the NGOs and like the neoliberal apparatuses, they say that there's going to be like a billion people by 2150 or 2050 maybe, and like by 2100 like a billion like, probably
left.
less. Yeah, a billion left. And
Holy
I think that like most of them are going to be Chinese. I'm just saying.
Yeah, the climate scientists have been coming out. I've been reading about this lately. A lot of climate scientists have been coming out in the last couple of years and saying, actually, we've been pressed at the universities we work for and the companies that we work for that have made us do these studies have like pressed us to downplay the results of climate change as much as possible. And it's so funny thinking about how like how many people out there are still climate deniers and people saying that it's being overblown. It's all being overblown when it's literally the scientists are coming out and saying, actually, those
it's way worse.
Predictions that you're saying are overblown were actually underblown, if that's a word. Like, I don't know if that's a word, but it's not a word. Underblown. But like it's
I want to get
Been
under
there,
blown.
bro.
Yeah.
it's gonna be fucked. Like Europe's gonna be a fucking desert. Good. But also like America's gonna be a desert. Canada,
Hell yeah.
Greenland, right? This is why Trump wants those, right? Because Canada and Greenland, and Northern Europe, like England and the Nordic countries and Russia and China, everything south of that is just going to be a fucking desert and unlivable. Everything above that is going to be the only place people can live. And then you go down to the equator, unlivable, 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 unlivable. And then you go down Africa, most of Africa, till you get to the bottom,
Let me guess. Australia's okay.
most of Latin America, and then Australia. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
We'll be fine.
I have heard that New Zealand would be okay. I don't know why people have always singled out New Zealand and build the bunkers there as opposed to Australia. It
New
seems like
Zealand's a
Australia would
very
be the
cold
safer bet.
country. That's why.
Yeah.
It's literally just places that are really cold. Australia's really close to and New Zealand are really close to Antarctica. Like
Dude, Antarctica is going to get fucking colonized.
Yep.
Like for real colonized when
Yep.
the ice like really starts receding, and that's just going to become a new like safe haven for
Mad rush.
Yeah,
Like,
dude,
that's
it's
the
going to be fucking crazy.
that's the plan. Like that's their plan for climate change is to move rich people, move the first worlders up north or down south. That's their
Mhm.
plan.
Yeah.
Like there's that you can go find articles of like of like the Financial Times and stuff like that, Wall Street Journal, talking about how the climate change will impact the markets and stuff like that, and how people will move up here, people will move to Canada, people will move all the way down south, people will move to Australia, they'll move to New Zealand, they'll move to Greenland, northern parts of Russia, China, stuff like that. That's what they're talking about now. They've moved beyond climate denial. They've moved beyond even pretending that they're going to do something about like climate change. And now it's literally like, actually, climate change is going to happen, but it will be fine. That's the stage right now.
Did you guys see the thing I made the other day? Just real quick, it was like that drowning person meme. It was like, it's gonna be okay, and then the people drowning were like the majority of humanity for whom things will not be okay. Like,
Yeah.
people are just going to keep going to yoga. People are going to keep getting coffee and saying, "Oh, it'll be all right," while like other people die. Like other people are currently dying. People died of COVID, and we're just kind of just moving along. Like, just it's fine. It's all good. You guys, it's gonna be okay. Don't worry about it.
There was a court case recently that a small island nation lost against Australia, where they were saying we had to take them because their country's disappearing from sea level rise.
Yep.
Let me find it.
Yeah, there's some of those around India as well, where they're I think Bangladesh is having massive amounts of land just completely swallowed under ocean. And it's going to cause another gigantic refugee crisis, which is going to lead to more genocide.
Oh.
You know,
It's even worse than that. Here, Mike, if you want to open this article, this is so fucking bad. Jesus Christ.
Where'd you put it?
Let me just put it in the chat. Have a look at this. Open this up.
Gotcha. Did you give me like a specific part of the article? Sorry.
Can you zoom out?
How about this?
So, Torres Strait, right? So we have three official flags: the Aboriginal flag, the Australian flag, and the Torres Strait Islander flag. Torres Strait Islanders are the other Indigenous people. They live on the little islands all around Australia, little tiny islands. All these different islands. There's heaps. You can hardly see them on a map. All over the place. It's called the Torres Strait. Our court ruled, it says right here, last week, a federal court judge found the Australian government has no legal duty of care to protect Torres Strait Islanders from climate change. If that case is appealed, the Superior Court may revisit the government's obligations and have regard to the ICJ ruling in doing so.
of course. I'm not
The
even
climate
surprised.
change, the climate change which we are disproportionately responsible for, and people, these tiny, very poor countries in the Torres Strait are not responsible for it all because their carbon footprint is negligible. And apparently we have no legal duty of care to protect Torres Strait Islanders, even though one of our national flags our literal national flag is the Torres Strait Islander flag and the Aboriginal flag and the Australian flag. It's one of three.
Yeah, of course. I mean, why would white supremacist fucking global north have to take care of their slaves in any way, you know? Why would they ever have to?
I hate how many things Chapo accurately predicted like years ago, because they also called this. They were saying that like as climate change keeps getting worse, um, people in the West will continue living mostly the same lifestyle. It'll get a little bit harder, but you're mostly going to watch your country become Fortress America or Fortress Europe while they keep all the climate refugees out, and conditions for those people get infinitely worse, even though they are not the people who caused the climate change. They're not the people who created the pollution to begin with. They're not the purveyors of it. They're just the victims to begin with, and then also again in the second round of consequences from all that production and industrialization.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really fucked up.
We're never going to starve. We're not going to be the people who starve.
That's why I really want. Sorry.
When they say that, you said there's going to be 1 billion people left. Most of those people will be the Chinese, but also like Westerners will be the other group of people.
I mean, we're thinking that's going to be the case, but like that is why I'm like not only hoping for that like dramatic reversal of conditions, because it would be like the cosmically just thing to happen, but also it like literally just makes sense. Like if you have such a systemic effect as climate change that is literally global, it only just makes logical sense that the societies that would fare the best are the ones that prioritize the working class, like prioritize the interest of the common person, rather than just like privatizing everything and making everything cost more, like ruling everything by markets, which are inherently going to just make sure that only the rich people survive for a little bit until they like cannibalize all the people below them who actually produce the things. And then you have like the don't look up scenario. You have just like all these like that is the parody for a reason. It's because like rich people don't know how to do anything in an apocalyptic scenario, which is why they have those weird meetings asking about like machines that could cut the heads off their security guards in case they become unruly or whatever. Like they don't know what to do if markets can't allow them to artificially exert pressure over people who could just easily kill them or actually do make the stuff that they need to survive. They don't know what to do with that situation. So of course socialist societies should fare the best, which is why again I'm just banking on the underground cities in China, and hopefully not the umbrella network kind. Like again, I feel like that was also like a psyop on Americans to think of like underground cities as bad and like something that you can't actually do because it's going to mean zombies and parasitic corporations. Whereas like if you just had like a state that actually cared about you and that you have democratic control over running things, well, yeah, you could actually have underground cities that work just as well and get you through climate change that those nasty European white devils would like put upon you.
Yeah, absolutely. And with China, like kind of having this like really, really good position economically speaking, going into like the next quarter century at the very least, the climate change is going to get so bad. It's going to get so bad. We're already, you know, I'm in Florida, and we're having this massive fucking heat wave right now, and it is like people are probably just going to start dropping dead, you know, from like lack of heat tolerance, you know. They're already doing it, you know. And China, because they have China, because China is the greatest country in the world, they'll have this infrastructure that is like safe and livable. They're going to get hit by the impacts of climate change as well, but because their state is actually a socialist one and they actually give a fuck about their people, you know, they're going to survive at least better than 90% of the other fucking part of the world. You know, the fact that there are so many Western Marxists who look at China and have just been completely brainwashed into thinking that like they have nothing to offer. That China's imperialist, that Russia's imperialist. Like there's a different. First off, I'm not even gonna get into that. Like there's a difference between expansionism and defense and like defending yourself from Nazi NATO. Like Russia's doing what they got to fucking do. But China, this whole thing recently about China being an imperialist country and like trying to control Taiwan or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's such a tired fucking thing at this point, you know. And the United States very clearly is trying to encircle China the same way that they tried to encircle the Soviet Union and cause it to collapse from within by doing all kinds of psyops and you know, economic warfare and tariffs and all this fucking bullshit. I want to move to China. I really want to. I'm seeing shit from like Chongqing. I think that's the name of the city. I might be pronouncing it wrong, but that city is so beautiful. It's got like, it's like, it is like a science fiction movie over there.
Yeah, dude.
Like I'm not even exaggerating, man. Like when I started seeing footage from China and how beautiful those cities are, like there were people walking around at like 8 o'clock at night, you know, dancing and eating food and all this shit. And it's like, just this was some random American dude walking around in the middle of this in a random street in a random city in China, and it looks like one of the coolest places ever. You know, like New
Credit
York
scores weren't going down.
Dude, fucking you know, their social credit, whatever the hell it is. I wish we had something like that, because and it's not even it's like not even real. Like, is it even real? I don't even.
It's a tool of business. So I can tell you what it is. It's for regulating businesses. It's for businesses to fulfill their obligations to the country. They have social credit scores based on is the business hiring local people at the factory? Is it hiring locals? Is it paying its taxes? Like, that's literally what it is. It's a form of business regulation. When it says social credit, it means social credit is in the social responsibility of those businesses to the Chinese government. And it's for private.
The social credit score
sector
is what you actually would want in America. It's like, as opposed to the credit score that fucks over the working class people and makes sure that you make enough money to afford like an apartment from your landlord, that they start looking up the credit score for like all kinds of random things now. Like, I don't even know what, I haven't had my credit run in a while.
Medical
but like,
debt.
Yeah, that kind of thing too. It's like really predatory and weird. Social credit in China is like, do you actually pay your employees enough? Like people who like use private jets too much will get like flagged in a weird way. They'll get like looked at weird. You have to like pay back something to the state. And when we say that like the Chinese state cares about their people, it's not like there's some kind of mythical entity of the Chinese state that has like kind of care for the people. It's just they don't have a choice. Like, it actually is a democratic institution from the bottom up. Like, when you start looking into communist democracies and how they actually work, and you get outside the Western propaganda, you start looking into things like community councils, and you see what democracy really looks like when it doesn't have the influence of business towering over all of it. I've said this a million times before, but even the American state institutions, even like Western state institutions, all the parliamentary democracies and everything, they would work too. They would work if they just didn't have that whole other third interest that we just all kind of think is just natural and we kind of ignore it, which is the business interest. Like, it's the whole business realtor class, like all the rentier class, like people who don't do anything but move money around, the bankers, the financiers, the insurance industry, the like all of it, finance industry, real estate. It's bad. They're bad. Like, they're predatory people. And it's not because they're Jewish. It's not because they like a subset of them are Jewish. It's just because they have a predatory industry that doesn't produce anything, and they have to make a living off of your backs. And then they also have to like build up an entire ideology and culture to obfuscate the fact that they're doing that, to get you to look over here at some other people. Bill Burr also had like a great like 8-minute rant on this on his podcast today. Like, go check it out. It's like his most recent episode. If you get past the 30-second ad at the beginning, he just went on a whole Marxist rant. He was like, what's up with all these billionaires who keep telling us to do AI, and like they keep saying all the technology is going to make things easier, and then it never makes things easier. Life always gets harder. You always have to work more. And then they keep telling you to look at like somebody over here who's broke, like the immigrants coming from another country who are the most destitute, desperate people you could possibly be, and they're saying that it's their fault. Meanwhile, they're buying another yacht. He's like, what's going on here, folks? This is a millionaire saying this, a millionaire comedian saying this.
The billionaires, the Chinese billionaires narrative is so funny as well.
Oh my god!
Like, so we know how the number of Chinese billionaires has gone down by like 70% or something in the last couple of years.
Yeah,
because because basically when a company gets big enough, when a private company gets big enough, China expropriates and nationalizes that company, which good. So they harness, what they do is they harness capitalist investment and capitalist what's what I'm looking for here, innovation. Not really, it's not really innovation, it's more like the capitalist like entrepreneurial thing. They're harnessing that to like start new industries and places, and then there's winners and losers, and then the winners, the state just takes the winners and nationalizes them, and then the capitalists are like, oh, that's mean. And it's like, yeah, tough luck. But also like they just because you're not a billionaire anymore doesn't mean you're not still like well off. Like they're fine. Like they still have millions of dollars. Like you're not a billionaire anymore, but you're still a well-off person. It's like whatever. So the narrative with Chinese billionaires is always like so cringe in that sense, and also how they measure what a billionaire is in China as well is very loosey-goosey, and you need to really check the numbers, because people will often say things like Xi Jinping is a billionaire, right? And then you look it up and he has his net worth is supposedly, and this isn't even fucking true, it's $1 billion of 1 billion of whatever China's currency is called.
Yuan
I think
or something.
yuan, yeah.
Renminbi, yuan.
Yeah, which even if that was true, right? So if we say it is 1 billion yuan to
Do the conversion.
not Australian dollars, US dollar, real money, US dollars, that's 139 million US dollars. So not a billion.
God, that's like nothing.
Yeah, it's basically nothing. I make that much money in a week. Like
exactly.
that's a middle class income. That's a no, but like it's but first of all, by the way, he doesn't even have that much money. He's not worth 150 billion US dollar. He would have, his net worth would be a couple of $1 million. Probably. Who cares? The narrative around the billionaires thing is very
Yeah, but also
cringe.
just the obsession with Xi Jinping as a personal character is like a Western great man theory delusion. It's like I'm constantly harping on the fact that people are still bringing up Dengist as if we're a thing. They're still bringing up Deng Xiaoping. The dude has been dead. Dude has been dead for a long time. He was out of power in like 89. Like,
yeah,
China is not ruled by Deng Xiaoping anymore. Dengists are not a thing. We're just Marxists. We're just pointing out that China is the most successful existing socialist country currently, and so far in history, it seems.
They're the vanguard.
It's like,
literally.
what are you gonna do? Cope.
And people-
Cope with these,
people-
goes, guys.
And people keep bringing up, they're like, oh, China has landlords now.
I just
China has
said it.
landlords
He said
now.
the Maoist coping about it is so funny.
Yeah. People be like, China has landlords now. Oh, they have landlords. It's like, yeah, you know what percentage of the Chinese population don't own a house? 20%. 80% of the Chinese population own property, right? So that, you know how fucking high that is? A
It's
rate
like
of home
95%
ownership?
of Chinese millennials.
90%.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like the millennial class
It's really
is like,
high.
because when you factor in, like, if you say 80% of Chinese people or something, whatever you just said, like, own homes, that means like you're kind of like kids and old people in there. Like, there's like, a lot of people. So like the millennial class, like the people who are supposed to be starting out buying homes, like 90 to 95% of them own their homes. And then the home ownership, it's like it stays really high up until people get so old that they can't maintain their house anymore, and then they move into some kind of like you're supposed to, like somebody else takes care of you. Like,
Yeah. Yep.
So like having landlords isn't always necessarily the worst thing in the world. Like ideally you don't want landlords, right? But like for a subset of your population to be renters is necessary because people move around. Some people need to move around. They need temporary housing, 6 months, 12 months housing. Renting, you're not going to buy a house. You buy a house in the place that you settle down. If that's how your society's set up, where you have home ownership still, which China does because they're in like lower stage of socialism. They're not in a higher stage of socialism, so they still have landlords. They still have private property. They have private business as well. It's like when you're being such a fucking ultra about having like the fact that they have some landlords when the percentage of their population who are renters is only 1 in 5 people, whereas like I don't know what the home ownership rate in the US is, but the home ownership rate in Australia is 63%, and it is mostly it is massively overrepresented by the by my parents' generation, basically. I'm 29. I am a 29-year-old, and I've worked full time my whole fucking adult life, and I still live with my fucking parents. I'm 29.
Yeah.
And that's not even like a pathetic. That's I don't know if it's a pathetic thing in the
It
United
doesn't.
States.
No, dude. It's
But
fine.
like, it used to be a pathetic thing. They used to treat it. It used to be like a pathetic thing to still be living with your parents in your late 20s. But like now, it's just the norm because that's how. And we've all just accepted that that's how society is. That you have to live with your parents till you're basically in your 30s. That's when you can afford to buy. Most people here, when they buy a house, it's in their mid 30s. Mid 30s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And-
another
and
thing that's like the norm that people just accept, it's like when you think about how many of those things people have slowly accepted, like 9 to 5 became 8 to 5. So people just accepted an extra hour of the day. People have accepted going back from working at home back to into the office because COVID is apparently over. But also another thing people don't really talk about is like if you have kids, your parents watch your kids or else you just can't afford like one of you stays home. That's how every like people like person couple between like millennial to Gen X, I think up like on up is like if you have kids, you either have to have one parent stay at home because they can't find a job that will be like will pay them more money than what they would have to fork over just for daycare for that kid or kids, or you have like family, you have some kind of like grandparents or other family members taking care of your kids. Like there's no other way people are doing it. Like the cost is just prohibitively high, and like
We
people
literally
don't talk about it other than like fucking subreddits or comment sections
Yeah.
complaining about it, but that's nothing else is being done.
we have state subsidized healthcare here. Sorry, no, state subsidized childcare. Here it's only partially subsidized, but it's like that's how bad it is. Where it's like people can't, no one can afford it. Pretty much everyone here who uses childcare, which is most people have to use childcare, has to take advantage of the government program for subsidies. That's the extent that's gotten to. So it's like I don't know. It's the thing about the Western Marxists not looking in their own fucking backyard and spending all their time going after China when China's just proving like they're doing everything right, and they're like, oh, they haven't transitioned to a higher stage of socialism. Oh, they don't have a moneyless, classless society. Oh, there's contradictions within their society. Oh no.
Are you telling me they still exist in the real world that is also like capitalist in nature, like most of it, or is at least under the thrall of the capitalist empire? Like it's usually vassal states and then compliant, more developed like Western countries that are like what do you call it? Like beyond vassals. They're like parts of the empire itself. Like they're
the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Commonwealth is just another term for empire, basically. You know.
Oh, I love the Commonwealth, mate. I'm in the
I did
Commonwealth.
I wanted to start giving some shout outs since you were mentioning China not being imperialist. Like so the revolutionary left, which is our friend Reina, she's been going hard in the paint all this past week with these like effort posts, like infographic style posts about like fucking China not being imperialist. Like it's very obvious China is not imperialist when you look at any of the actual classifications of imperialism as laid out by Lenin. There's like 5 different classifications of it. China doesn't fit most of them, one maybe, but that's literally because they're just participating in the capitalist markets. They're not like arming people. They're not arming the Philippines to fight Filipino Maoists, like people keep saying. They're not arming Israel. They're not trading arms with Israel or doing like massive trade with Israel. Even they're not doing like more trade with Israel than Norway is. Like if you look at the actual like proportion of what China trades with Israel, it's like a tenth of what a country like Norway is doing. Even though Norway is this tiny little country out in fucking bumblefuck of Scandinavia that nobody cares about. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, all these criticisms are not in good faith. They're not valid. They're only coming from people who are either ops or just falling for fucking ops. Like, they're people who are in good faith, Western, kind of latently white nationalists, just like Western friendly leftists who think that America is still good or the West is still good. China must be kind of bad in some way. Russia must be bad, but like none of that shit is true, and we keep saying it over and over again. We will keep doing it.
To be fair on those people, just a tiny little bit. I do wish China took a more active role on
Yeah, I mean, we can all wish. Yeah.
on Palestine, and like
But
They
Palestinians
sh-
have been like known, like Yemenis have been found using Chinese technology to target ships. There's been Palestinians who have been using Chinese weapons. Like it's
oh, they do. They've been doing. They give weapons to Iran. It's so funny listening to people say how bad that is. It's like it's not. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like Iran's government is fucking irrelevant in this conversation.
I
Um,
really like how the DPRK is helping out Russia right now.
also cool.
That's-
Love to see it.
Yeah, that's something that's been going on as well. With the DPRK actually sending over soldiers and having this like kind of back and forth economic relationship with Russia, because the Ukraine situation is still going on. It's still a thing, you know, and DPRK is just like, you know, absolutely anti-imperialist effort. We're right fucking there with you.
we should do a Ukraine update.
Oh yeah. Real quick, the shout out that I wanted to give was to I don't think that's philosophy on Instagram, because he's also been talking about what we mentioned earlier, which is that these are not climate deniers in power. These are climate strategists. These are people who are openly talking about strategizing around Greenland, Iceland, or whatever, like the Arctic caps, like the polar ice caps. They know what is coming. They're strategizing around that. They're already talking about that, and again, they're dabbing on you. Like they're already preparing their exit plans and their installation plans for like how they will personally be okay and profit of all this while you die, while you and everyone you love dies. Like they're not deniers, they are strategists. Sorry, we were gonna
They
say
will. The U.S. in this century. Here's another little Jared prediction. The U.S. in this century will absolutely annex Canada. That's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
Canada's going to get annexed. It'll be taken. Like that's going to happen. It'll be one of the only like livable places on Earth.
like looking at the map back here.
Yeah.
Yep.
All that.
Like they're going to do that. That's what the whole thing about Trump's just like floating the idea now, but like that's what happened. That's how US foreign policy works is not him. I mean, like US politicians in general, is they float these ideas forwards and it seems ridiculous, but like in a few decades time, it's not ridiculous.
Yeah.
It'll be a recurring current until they do that. And Canada's not going to do fucking anything about it. Like they're a tiny, insignificant country. So they'll just get, if they tried to fight back, they would just get rolled over. Like they can't do, and they won't fight back because they're a bunch of fucking white people. Like they don't have they're not like Palestinians. They're not like Russians. They're not like fucking Chinese people or
they're Westoids. They're treatlorites.
Yeah, they're not like Koreans. Like they're not people or Vietnamese. They're not people who are willing to die for their country because they're settlers. So the US will take Canada in this century.
No shade to Justin Podor and Sina Romani. I love those guys so much. I think they're both Canadian people, but they're like anti-imperialist podcasters who like I go to them for all my good takes. Like they're the best guys. But they're Canadian. But yeah, they probably would also help. They would want Canada to roll over to the US because they don't like the settler colony any better than anyone else. So
I think that it's very funny how Trump, it's such a weird thing to me that it was just so like readily accepted. That Trump renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
Oh, yeah, everybody already forgot.
Yeah, and I feel like that's another small stepping stone in that like controlling from North to South Pole, you know, that Jeffersonianite Hitlerite bullshit. And also just to comment about some of the chatters, Petrozel, you're so right, man. The people who call themselves Maoists or in fact they're just ultra leftists who I used to think like that, you know. I used to be like, man, China's definitely imperialist. I remember thinking that way like maybe a year ago, I don't know. And it just takes washing my brain of the bullshit and actually brainwashing myself. Not in a bad way, but like
don't say it that way.
I mean literally washing my brain of its biases and its bullshit.
Cleansing,
cleansing, exactly. It's a brain cleanse when you actually look at the material conditions and you look at the theory of Deng, and then Xi Jinping and everyone that has been after Mao in China, you actually look at the Marxist scholarship and the level of like democratic decision making, the democratic centralism that Marxism-Leninism has going for it. They applied democratic centralism to the whole country. They didn't make it just a thing that is in their central committee or whatever. It is now how the country operates on the whole, and it's revolutionary. It is the reforms that come after a revolution has already occurred. And Lenin talks about that as well, is that you can have reforms in capitalism that'll just go right back to where you were, with like social democracies and shit like that. But if you have a revolution, then you can have those smaller reforms that happen after that has taken place. It's like it's a dialectical change of conditions,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was gonna say, don't call us dingus, call us like G-ists. Although that doesn't roll off the tongue because
I'm just a Marxist. I'm just a Marxist at this point,
Yeah.
I think that it's important to look at the theoretical through line that, like, yes, the mainstream vanguard of Marxism globally, it can be tracked through these Chinese leaders and thought leaders. It's very eye-opening to really look at what has been going on in China.
What that guy Socialism for All always says is you should support ideas, not people. So like when you talk about like we're just Marxists, we're Marxist Leninists. If China strayed from Marxism Leninism, we would say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it hasn't. If the Soviet Union strayed from Marxism Leninism, we would have said that as well. And it kind of obviously it did when it collapsed, but before that it also with its bullshit reforms and stuff like that, letting capitalist roaders in and not controlling the capitalist class, they went about it the wrong way, which by the way China learned from that. Like what these fucking ultras don't get is like China like learned from what happened to the USSR and we're like, okay, so we can't do that. As much as they'd want to do that, they can't do it. There's not the conditions to do that. Unfortunately. Did Joseph just die? What happened?
No, I think something went wrong with this game. I was going to move toward wrapping it up anyway. I was going to see if we could do like a quick Ukraine update, but I don't think there's any way we would get through that quickly. So I'd like to just save it for the next time because we'll do this again in like another couple of weeks.
We can we can do something where Ukraine is the main topic, I guess.
Yeah.
And we can just talk about Ukraine.
Yeah, we can do like an extensive. We can do like some war mapping, but for now, we could just say it's not going good for Ukraine. Like, just negotiate for peace, like we've been saying. Just give it up.
Sorry about that.
Anyone who wants the war to continue, who is like wants them to fight to the last Ukrainian, is a fucking demon. I'm sorry, but like the Ukrainian working class don't deserve this. Like they don't.
Yeah.
Like, how can we support the channel?
Yeah, somebody actually asked. That's good. That's a good question. I don't remember the Patreon. Hold on.
Oh yeah, there is a Patreon. Yeah.
Yeah, if you sign up for the Patreon, I give the money to these guys. So it's Patreon / True Crime TCOE Pod. Patreon.com/TCOE Pod. That's for True Crimes of the Empire. That's a podcast we had going for a little bit. We were talking about South Africa. We'd also did Democratic Republic of Congo. You can find those episodes. A lot of fun talking about the history of colonialism. But if you sign up for $1 a month, you can get all these reading aloud sessions that I've been doing. It's the reading hour, and I just read through 3 books at a time. And then every once in a while, we'll also do these live streams that will also get added to the podcast feed and the live stream feed. So a lot of content coming your way. Very, very cheap. Most of it free. So yeah, check it out.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, you guys want to wrap it up here, and then we'll talk about it in like 2 weeks. We'll do like a massive Ukraine update, and we'll actually like pull out some maps and shit.
I'll get so much shit together. I love talking about Ukraine.
Hell yeah,
that sounds good to me.
Guys. Thank you. It's fun as always.
Yep.
Thanks everyone for joining.
Yes.
Right,